Hey you guys, so this video is going to be about how the feminist movement, I think, has really gaslit women into thinking that being childless makes them free. And that if you do have a child, that your daycare is going to be a good replacement for you. A daycare where you have 8 babies to every person. I'm going to link a video in the description from, I think it's Dr. Komisar, who wrote a book about this some years ago, about how a baby's brain development really thrives with the mom being the primary attachment figure in the first few years of life. Do not let anyone gaslight you that you are worse off being a mom. It's an expansive experience, and do not let anyone gaslight you that your baby thrives on formula rather than breast milk, or that your baby will be fine in daycare, because it's better for your child to be, it's better for the baby to be with the mom as much as possible in the first few years of life, and to be breastfed, and to be in a quiet environment, and to be held skin on skin. That's what makes them thrive. So don't let anyone gaslight you, okay? That's all I want to say, so let's get into this video. I just want to make a video about parenting because when I was a little girl, I really was looking forward to getting married and being a mom. And the more I realized that so many women don't get that opportunity anymore, I'm really grateful that I had that chance to be married and to have children and to be a mom. It has been the greatest growth experience of my life, okay? And I enjoyed it very much. I have 3 children, and I would have kept having more, except my ex-husband was like, Shahrzad, we're done. And he got a vasectomy. But I will say that one thing I have noticed, and I'm a grandma, by the way, too. I'm not one of those like, oh, look at my grandkids, you know, but I love them, and I love being a mom, and I love family life, and I love relationships. And sometimes I had a comment the other day, like, it's so interesting that you are like conservative and like families and children, and you have a Just for Fans. I don't think there's anything weird about it at all. It's completely in integrity that I stand for love and relationships and interaction. And the Just for Fans is how I make my money as a single woman, because I don't want to work full time. I don't want to work for some crappy boss. I don't want to have to deal with crappy customers, and I don't want to work for hardly any pay at all. So, you know, it kind of makes sense, because as a woman, I don't want to be competing out there in the world with men. I don't want to compete. I want to have a job that's nourishing and satisfying. And nowadays, even a lot of teachers and nurses who are kind of like more, I'm not in a caretaker mode, but they have those nourishing jobs, they're really getting disenchanted with their work, because more and more work is put upon them, and a lot of people they have to deal with no longer have good manners. But I digress. The point I was trying to make is that as a mom, we have a natural instinct. We're born with natural instincts, okay? And when we have children, we have a natural instinct to protect these children. That's good. We're supposed to have that. You know, like the mama bear, fight for her cubs. You know, it's an instinct, but it's also love that we as humans have. And there's just so much in the world that gaslights women into not wanting children. You know, when I hear the number of people saying they don't want children because they just want to live, you know, a life for themselves. Okay, I'm going to differentiate between women who are unable to conceive and women who don't want children. So this video is about women who don't want children. And they're missing out on a huge growth experience. I don't understand what happened when feminists started telling women that they're better off and freer and more empowered, not getting to experience being a mom. Sure, being a mom is hard, okay, but it's a growth experience. It's really one of the only experiences that I've had in my life where I genuinely wanted to put somebody else's needs above mine, within healthy boundaries, of course, because babies are very needy. And, you know, they force you to get up at night. They force you to take care of them when you're tired. They force you, and they make you want to put your money into them and put your love into them in a way that's expansive for the heart. You know, my biggest growth experiences and my heart expansion really came from being a mom. Because I wanted to do something for someone just for the sake of doing it, you know? And I also had to learn through parenting classes how to be a better parent, how to deal with a child rejecting me, you know, which they do, or having a tantrum, and wanting to deal with it. Unlike with a relationship where you can just get pissed off and like, I don't want to talk to you. You don't want to do that with your kids. It's also a really good way for people to heal their own parenting issues. But to be a good parent does require a good support system, because they will challenge people's emotions and patience. And one thing that's, anyway, I want to say that women are really gaslit by being told that there's freedom in not being a parent, and they really miss out. Because when life is just all about what can I do for myself, it's really diminishing our capabilities. Also, women are really gaslit that they're told that their babies just need a reliable caregiver and it doesn't have to be them. The baby knows that it's you, okay? Because I have some friends who work with babies, and the baby knows from a very early age of just a couple weeks if it's mom holding the baby or another woman holding the baby. They respond to your scent. They respond to your voice. And when babies are dropped off at a daycare center, moms do not want to drop their babies off at a daycare center. There's this natural instinct that says, I do not want to drop you off here, and it's painful. And then women are told, you'll be fine, the baby will be fine, and it's minimized, and they're gaslit from their natural instinct to want to nourish their babies. You know, we say we're the richest country in the world, but we don't have money to help new moms get a maternity leave. But we can go off and fight all these freaking wars, okay, because these war companies want to make money while we're ignoring and neglecting our children. And that's why teachers are quitting, because kids are raised with very little oversight and manners and boundaries. Kids need love and kids need boundaries. But when babies are little, they don't need boundaries. They just need love, because their nervous system isn't fully developed like ours. They don't know how to manipulate people. They're just needy, and they need their nervous system regulated and soothed in the presence of an adult, a calm adult, a good enough adult, okay? We're not always calm, because a baby that's colicky and stuff can be very unsettling, but they need to be soothed. They need to be held skin on skin. They need to be nursed. That's another thing. Women are told, oh, if breastfeeding is hard, just give your child formula. What about just trying to nurse the baby? There are health benefits. There's so many benefits to nursing, holding your baby close. And the children in the first few years of life really, really need to be around their parents, especially the mom. You know, when kids get to be around 2 or 3, then they might start preferring the dad or whatever, but the first few years they really need the mom, and mom really needs the dad to help with the baby, to bond with the baby, to support mom. Like, there's a lot of energy, love, and money, and time, and patience that goes into raising kids. I would totally raise kids again. I would totally raise kids. I'm 62 now. I would do it again. I would totally do it again. I know how to do that. It was hard at times. I think ideally, mom gets a break, and ideally a woman works part-time. In my case, I really like doing something part-time, because being around kids all day is kind of claustrophobic for me. But I think someone needs to be there to, you know, put the peaceful energy in the home. People have really, really, really gotten far away from home, hearth, family, bonding, and You know, it's really sad. And the feminist movement has done women a great disservice by saying that you're better off without kids because kids are a burden. You know, there's even talk in the manosphere that moms with kids are a burden. You know, where's this whole idea that kids are a burden? Kids are a great gift. Kids are a gift. You know, being a mom is a great gift. And you know, where I live here in the suburbs, I hardly ever see little babies anymore. In fact, recently I was trying to help one of my friend's daughters get a maternity dress for something she needed, a maternity dress. And I remember when I was a young mom, there was a really nice clothing store that I could barely afford called Pea in the Pod. And I did finally go there and buy some suits and stuff like that for work because I was a career woman. But Pea in the Pod is closed. So I started looking through the, you know, maternity stores near me, and there's Target has maternity clothes. But so I called the Target near me, and they don't have a maternity section. They don't. I think you can get it online. Then H&M has a maternity section, so I called a couple H&Ms near me, and they don't sell the maternity clothes anymore in the store. It's just online. So that's telling me that fewer women are having babies. Why did Pea in the Pod close? Why is Target and H&M no longer selling maternity clothes in the store? And H&M said they were going to discontinue it. I think that's what they said. Because the birth rate is going down. Fewer women are having babies. And I know some of it is because of the cost of having children. Like, it's so expensive and it's so much harder for one man to provide for a family. When I got married, it was still possible to buy a house on one income. And when we got married, and I was in school at the time, and when I started working, we decided to not buy a bigger house because I knew at one point I wanted to stay home with my kids and I wanted to be able to live on one income. And, you know, in a lot of places, it's harder to live on one income. So I think that's harder for people. Ideally, you would have either the mom staying home with the baby the first few years, or you would have like a family member helping with the baby. But I just want to give another shout out for, you know, like, it's a really great joy and a lot of effort to have children, but it's so worth it. Like, okay, like going to the gym, okay, it's really fucking hard sometimes to lift these weights and do those sled pushes. Like, it's hard. But I'm stronger for it. So not everything that's hard is bad. Some things that are hard expand us and make us better people, make us stronger people. Yeah, I would totally date a guy with kids again, or raise kids again. I thought it was a great joy, and you know, it's just part of a loving human experience, just like sex, relationships, kids, family, healthy eating. Like, I don't see why any of this is out of integrity. The only thing is that kids are definitely sex blockers, okay? So I can tell you when I'm in kid and family mode, you know, I don't want any sex part in that. Like, it's huge separation, you know? So when I'm in mom mode, I do not want my husband touching me for sex or whatever in front of the kid. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm uncomfortable talking to my kids about sex. So I do have those boundaries, but I do not think that anything is out of integrity. And I'm not a conservative, by the way. I would consider myself more of like a libertarian. I don't trust either party. They're both complicit in endless wars. And the lobbyists pretty much running the country, because what they fund, what the corporations fund, is what our politicians prioritize. And that's why children get no shrift. That's why teachers are underpaid. That's why children are neglected. They don't have you know, any money lobbyists behind them, while the war machine does, Big Pharma does, Wall Street does. So we need to do it from the grassroots level and just like keep talking about the importance of children. That's really all I wanted to say in this video. And I look forward to your comments.